Hey, it's June 23rd, 2019. This is Andrew in Omaha, Nebraska. The past couple days I've been working on another Firefighter strap for a radio bucket, and I just finished it up. Here's the strap. I know it's kind of tough to get it completely in frame here, but I made it a little extra longer for the person who ordered it. Added 4 inches to the end strap here, but it's made out of drum-dried black Hermann Oak vegetable tan leather. I ordered a roll of 7 to 8 ounce from the Springfield Leather Company, and then I took one strip of that to make the outside, and then for the back side I cut another strip down to maybe about 2 ounce and flipped that over so the finished side on both sides is facing out, and then just glued and stitched that down. This Firefighter, their trucks are yellow, so he asked if I could do all the lettering in yellow and put the stitching in yellow as well. So I used 207 nylon thread to stitch it all together on my Cobra Class 3 sewing machine from the Leather Machine Company. I made the keepers for both the belt and the radio cord, all out of the same hide, and the hardware came from Weaver Leather. These are the scissor snaps, and then the roller belt buckle here. Also, the rivets also came from Weaver Leather Company, and basically when they have it on, they're able to loop their radio strap, or radio cord rather, through these loops. We're all switching over to the Motorola 800 megahertz radios, but you can detach the microphone from the radio itself, run it through, and then reattach it once the cord is run through each of these loops. So it was fun to make. I also ran a coat of Phoebing's Resin, acrylic resin finish on both sides, the front and back side, and I used the Angelus leather paint for all the lettering.
This is the foot I really like using on this machine. It's I don't know what the formal name of it is, but it's like I call it a double-sided foot. Basically, there's a foot on both sides, and then the center part of the foot that actually walks the needle back and forth. It goes up and down between the two. The machine also comes with two others. This is the one that goes on the left. You can take this one off and put this one on. And then this one will go on the right. I haven't even taken it out of the bag yet because I've never used it. But the thing with the roller edge guide that I found is you can't use it with this double-sided foot because when you bring it up, as you can see, it hits the side there. So that's why I can't use the roller edge guide with this foot here. And I'm not going to change out the foot here so I can use the roller edge guide because I've used this machine so often without it that I can keep going in a straight line as long as I can see my groove. It works just fine. But when I change the foot, then I'm going to have to go back through the machine and change the tension because it always changes when you change the foot for some reason. The tension in the thread changes, and then I'm either going to have loops on top of the stitch or on the bottom of the stitch, and I just don't want to go through all that in order to change out the foot. And basically I've been leaving this foot here on the machine all the time, and it's always loaded up with 207 thread. But that's why I'm not using the roller edge guide on this project, and I haven't actually been using the roller edge guide at all since the last time I showed it to you. I'm about to get ready to start stitching up the main strap here. I'm going to check my bobbin, make sure I have enough thread. Yeah, that's going to be plenty. All right, I'm going to start sewing together the main strap here. I'm going to start on the corner of this fold over section that goes over the scissor clip. So my ending point and my starting point will be completely covered up once that end is folded over and riveted down. I'm going to start right in the corner, so when I return back around, I'll be able to just hit that corner, turn the piece, and continue stitching 2 or 3 stitches over to lock it in. I think the contrast of the thread against the black leather is working out pretty well. I was a little concerned when I first got this yellow thread because when it's on the spool, it looks a lot darker. It looks like a mustard yellow. But when it comes off the spool and is stitched down, it's a lot brighter yellow, and I think it'll work just the way I wanted it to. That's Lassie. She's our German Shepherd. She's 4 years old. Just snoozing away.
I'm just using the strap cutter here to cut out the keepers. This is the piece I just split down with the splitter, and I'm going to make several keepers for the radio cord as well as the buckle keeper and a sway strap.
It's a big fireworks display going on outside. Somebody does not like it. She's right down here by my feet where she knows she's safe. You don't like fireworks, baby, do ya?
Now I'm starting the wet sanding process. I've already gone around the strap with 220, and now I'm going to go over it with 400. Now I'm just using a burnishing stick to slick up the edges. Alright, now I'm going to be putting the acrylic Resolene from Phoebing's on the back side of the strap as well as the front side, except for the areas that I'm going to be painting. I'm going to leave the Resolene off of that area until I finish painting, and then once the paint, all the letters are painted, I'll take a paintbrush and paint Resolene in the exposed leather portions around the letters, but I will not put the Resolene on top of the acrylic paint because the acrylic paint seals up on its own and it doesn't need the Resolene on top of it. It has been my experience when you put Resolene on top of the paint, it will change the color of the letters that you just painted. Now I'm getting ready to start painting the letters. I use these little applicator bottles that I found on Amazon. They have that little needle that I just put into the cap, and I just fill up the bottle with the paint, and then you'll see me later. I'm going to be going around the inside of the letters with the yellow paint, and it helps me put the paint exactly where I want it versus when I use a paintbrush, it always seems like you can never get the paint exactly right. And these bottles aren't perfect either. However, they are much more uh, efficient at putting the paint down than a brush. And I highly recommend them. Here you can see me starting on the very first letter on the strap. And this is what I mean when I say that it's much easier to apply the paint right where you need it, because it's a continuous flow of paint. I'm not constantly having to take a brush and re-dip it into the paint over and over and over. It's just one continuous flow, and it's really nice. I let this dry overnight. I had 2 coats that I put on this, and I need to put another coat for sure on. Might even take 4. The problem is with either yellow or white or in these light colors, when you put it on top of black leather like this, it makes it a little difficult to get the letters to block out the dark coloring on the back side completely. So I'm going to go over these letters again. Now, once the yellow's all done, I have some spots like on the H here, there's a spot, a couple around the E that the paint went down into the channel that I want to stay black. So I'll go back around that with another bottle with black paint in order to fill that in and cover that up.
The person you were helping, and that to me is like a really interesting aspect of where we're at as a species. Is that the reality is, man, yeah, we're all special and beautiful and wonderful, but also you're not happening in a vacuum. Right. You're completely inexorably interconnected with everything, and you can't get out of that. You're in it for real, and the boundaries you've constructed this ridiculous armoring boundary around them based on, this is bad and this is good and that's not good and that's good and here I am in the midst of it. And that's a real painful situation to be in because you have to fucking constantly exert that force field situation. And it's really, I think, why so many people are depressed and exhausted and can't really relax. Because how can you relax if you're constantly in a state of creating an imaginary barrier between you and its very nature of a king, a president, a pope, a bishop, a world leader, a teacher, whatever the fuck it is? It's preposterous. And it's also quite dangerous, because it's like not only do we have the situation of the parasitic friend, but even worse, you can get into the situation of the charismatic friend who's tricky. what's a way to call somebody out of shape, but like to connect it to their virility because they're a dad bod, yeah, dad bod. So then you start getting it out there, like, you know, it helps if any product that is like bad for you kind of depends on two things. One, that it tastes fucking good, and two, that you can trick yourself into believing it's worth eating, right? Like it needs those two things. Like, in other words, if there was like delicious uranium, like some lunatic created like the sweetest, most flavorful uranium biscuit, you're not gonna eat that shit, you know? You're gonna go Chernobyl and fucking, oh, your stomach's gonna melt at the dinner table. But if you can come up with like, you know, a nice IPA, like you were saying, or some kind of thing that's, oh, it's just poison, basically. It's going to destroy your liver over time. It'll be a slow progression, and you could, like, sink into alcoholism. Your personality will change. And
People are like, nobody would do that.
yeah.
People don't even know what you're saying right now. They go, no one's going to do that. It's such a stupid premise. No one's going to drink poison.
Alright, here's the finished strap. It comes in the two main pieces here. I'm going to buckle it together to show you what it looks like when it's all put together. I like the way the yellow turned out contrasting against the black leather. It stands out really well. Makes it look like a really nice piece. I did make this strap just a little bit longer. So the guy that ordered it wanted to make sure it would fit over all his gear. Basically, the strap goes up over your shoulder. You have the two clips here that hook into the radio bucket. And then the radio cord will snake through those keepers, go up around your back, and back down to the radio, and then you have your microphone on the front, which can also clip to one of the keepers. So that's it. Thanks for watching. This is Andrew in Omaha, Nebraska. Have a nice day.